Today we're going to review how to use Canva and how to get started on our first project. Number one, log into canva.com. To begin, we could use one of these preset items, or we could create a custom design. In our first example for the pizza, we're going to do a design that is 8.5 inches wide and 11 inches high. Create a new design, and then we have our Canva interface. Now at the very beginning, you're going to want to link this to your Google Drive, and you can click the three buttons for more, scroll down, and choose your Google Drive. If you also have an Instagram account, you're welcome to link that to your Instagram as well. Right here is where you have the title. And we're going to call this Pizza Party Flyer. This is kind of our first introduction into what we're doing. Okay, this is how we publish at the end. And to go back to the home, we can click home. Number one, we can search for templates. Maybe if we wanted to do a menu or a coffee bar, maybe we wanted to do a flyer for Halloween or a lost dog. So what's great is they have a lot of templates that are already preset. Next, we're going to work with elements, and there are several different elements we want to work with. The first thing we may want to add is a background. Anytime we want to filter, we're going to click the three dots here, and that way we could custom design a background, a color. You could apply filters or clear the filters to maybe kind of help you get whatever kind of design you want. Okay, if I'm doing a pizza flyer, maybe something that looks a little bit like Tuscany, or I can always go back and add a background at the end, which is what I'm going to do here. Okay. Next, I want to add text. Click here where it says Add Text for your heading. Okay, and this is going to be a pizza party. Okay, it will always default to this particular font, so in a minute we'll change that. And then we can also do a subheading. The only difference is it kind of presets the different, this one here would be thicker and a regular subheading would not be. Okay, so the pizza party is going to be August 30th. From 5 to 7 p.m. at Southern Lee. Okay. All right, so remember, fonts are like clothes for letters. Okay, so we're going to click over here. We can click the down arrow for our fonts. We can look at our recently used fonts. Or they also have a lot that are here that are in alphabetical order. And you can actually upload a font as well. Maybe for the title, I'll kind of want a funky font. Remember, we have also learned the difference of serif and sans serif fonts. Okay. There we go. I like that one. Okay, and then over here, and I'm going to highlight with my mouse all of the text, so when I change the font, it's going to change that for all of them. I'll do Radley today. Actually, I like that one a little bit better. All right, so let's look at what some of our options are up here. So number one, this is how we can align. Okay, we could, and there's no drop down, you just have to click it several times and it will arrow through there. Okay, so this is aligned to the left, and this is aligned for full justification, center, and then aligned to the right. Okay, so that one is center. So here's another trick for you. In this example here, this is centered, but it's not centered on the page. So to always make sure it's centered on the page, all I need to do is to drag it to either end, and that way I know that when I hit center, it's also centered in the page. Okay, if I want to change the size of the font, this is our size. Fonts are done in pixels. We'll come back a little bit later to the colors. Okay, I could also add bullets, and I could change the spacing. And finally, I could click Effects. The effects in Canva, there aren't a whole lot. You could do a little drop shadow. Okay, and here I want to change the color of the drop shadow. Okay, and then I could also curve it down there. Okay, so let's look at this second part, and I'm going to enlarge this just a little bit so it'll be easier for you to see. So, I have it centered. Okay, but let's click our spacing, and we're going to learn two things. Number one is letter spacing, and the other is line spacing. I went ahead and put the definitions right here for you. So I'm going to highlight our text, and we're going to go to spacing. So I can either adjust the letter spacing or the line spacing. The line spacing, and in Adobe it's called leading, is right here. Okay, so if I want to make this a little bit closer together, I might adjust the line spacing close to 1 for that. Okay, so our line spacing, you can kind of think of that as like single space, double space. The smaller the number, the closer it is together. Okay, the other thing I want to talk to you about is letter spacing. And letter spacing is side to side. In Adobe, we call that tracking. So we're going to start at 0. So if you can see here, it's expanding. So it's the same font. The only difference is there's a little bit more space side to side in between each of the letters. Okay. And if we want to make it smaller, we can click here at the bottom and resize it. If you notice, when I do that at the bottom or at the top, it says W6.1 H2. That's the height and the width in inches. Okay, so that can be important if we're trying to make something match. All right. So that about covers everything with our fonts for right now. We're going to go back to Elements, and I want to insert a circle. Next, I want to add a shape. I could just click on the shape, and it will appear right there. If I want to resize the shape, I can hold the Control key down, and that will keep the same height and width. If I hold the Control key, it keeps the same height and width proportions. If not, if I resize it, then I might could accidentally get it out of proportions. You can also use Control Z to undo. Okay, so I'm going to make this kind of small up here, 0.8. All right, next, to duplicate an item, we can just click on the shape, hold the Alt key down, and drag across. Not only that, it will also let us know the amount of space in between there. So again, I'm going to click on the item, hold my Alt key down, drag across, okay, and get my other item in there. If you notice, I also have some little smart guys to kind of help you align the items as well. I'm going to stop for a minute, switch back over, and insert a photograph of teens eating pizza. Okay, so from right here, I can just click on a picture to insert it. Okay, if you notice the picture is behind the text, we'll work with that in a minute. Okay, another thing I could do is I could also, Control Z to undo, is I could also add a frame. Okay, so what's the difference? If you just insert a photograph, it's going to insert it like as a box. If we have a frame, okay, then that way when we add the picture is going to go ahead and be in that size. So I'm going to go back over here to Teen and Pizza, drag and let go, and now my picture is in there. Okay, so now when I want to recolor a shape, I'm going to click right here. And now I can choose a regular color, but by now it also looks at this picture here and it's giving me some color choices that I could use to make sure that it goes with this particular image. Okay, so when I added a photograph there, it's giving me some photo colors to choose from. Okay, if you notice, I can hold the Shift key down. Okay, if you see the little boxes here, and now I'm going to click Group. Okay, so now I can duplicate those 3 items. So if I want to make 4 more dots over here, I've grouped them. I'm going to hold the Alt key down, drag across, and now I have a set of those. I can hold the Shift key down again, ungroup and group, and now I have these together. Okay, if I wanted to, I could even enlarge or not enlarge. Okay, if I wanted to add the same ones below, I could hold the Alt key down, just drag, and we would have those same items there. Another shortcut to select multiple items is I'm going to click here and hold my mouse down and drag over just the text. It selected all of it, and then I can just kind of drag that up. So now really quick, I'm going to show you a couple things that we can do with photographs. Okay, so if you notice, I added another photograph in here. Over here under Position, I can click Bring Forward and Bring Backward. Okay, so maybe I want to have the text Pizza Party go over that, or I could click on the picture under Position and do Bring Forward, and it would bring that to the top. Okay, maybe I want this picture to bring forward over that one, and then let Pizza Party be the 3rd one on there. Okay. Another little note right here, if you see when this happens, add a little comment. Okay, is I can add a comment, so that'd be very important if I'm giving a comment to you or if you're working on a partner project. So when I click on a photograph, here are some of the options up here. We can go to an effect. Okay, one of the neat things that we can do is we can also remove the background. In this example, it may not work as good. If you have somebody on more of a solid color background, it can work really well. And again, you might want to do that maybe if you had a really busy background or a textured background and you don't want the photograph to be competing with that. Yeah, oh, there it goes. So see the difference of that? So now the background is gone. Okay. I can also click Flip. And when I flip, I could either flip it horizontal or vertical. So let's look and see what happens if I do flip horizontal. Okay, so if I want to show you both of those, I can hold the Alt key down, drag across over here, and then on this one I can click Flip, flip back horizontal. This is the same picture, but again, you can alternate what you want on there. And you can also crop. Remember, when you crop something, that is permanent and you are cropping it out completely. So when I click crop, typically I should be able to, I may not be able because this one, depending on what type it is, I can bring part of it in and the other part will be cut out. Okay, so once we add photographs, we can have that. So again, so remember, we can also look for colors. So I can look for Teen Pizza and maybe I want a picture that has some red in there. Okay, and so some of these aren't perfect, but again, you can see some of the different pictures with teens and a red background. We can go back to clear all for the filters. Also, as I hold the Alt key down, I can click on items and it will tell me the size of something. Tell me the size and the spacing so I can make sure I'm aligning things a little bit easier. And again, that is holding the Alt key down. Finally, I can look for a background. I could use a filter trying to find one with some different color or texture. Okay, so maybe I like this one that's kind of like a crumpled piece of paper. Okay. But now we need to go to position and do send backward. So I have that in the back. With our text, we can also copy formatting. In this example, I added some text here that says new members welcome. So maybe I don't want to take the time to go back and make it Lemon Tuesday, size 60, and make sure that the line spacing is 1.25, and also go and then add an effect with the effect color, because that would take too long. So here's what we can do. Click on the font design you like. We're going to go over here and click the little paintbrush that says Copy Style. And see how it looks like a little paint roller? Click right here on the new part. And it automatically did all of that. So that is copy formatting right here. And that will allow us to copy the formatting, the font size, and the spacing. Finishing up over here. We also have the transparency. So in this example, I switched the background to one, but that's a little bit too busy. So right here, I'm going to click transparency. Okay, and that's going to let me make that a little bit more transparent. So that way it's a little bit easier to see in the background for that. And again, if you do something you don't like it, you can Alt-Z or Control-Z to undo. So again, so when I click Element, they already have it divided up into some shapes, graphics, photos, videos, charts, and frames. Okay, so maybe I want an arrow, but in this case I want an animated one. So I can even click my filters up here and choose animated. If I wanted to, I could even give a couple colors that I like. Okay, and on some of these you may just need to try one and see how you like it. Here's another good tip. And so I can also label these. Pizza party flyer. So here's another good tip. If you're not sure how something looks, you can click duplicate the page. So now I have two different pages. So then I can actually go and try two different designs and see how they look compared to each other. I'm going to see if I can do a brown and a blue. Okay, so I put one arrow here. And then just to see how I like the difference, I put a different arrow there so that way I can kind of compare those as I want. Okay. Also, if you find a design that you like, remember you can also scroll up and down here. So I can click the three dots and it will tell me a little bit more about it and some of the keywords that are used. Okay, and I can just double click it and it will go right in there. And again, if there's something I don't like, I can just click it once, do it, or click and drag the item in there. There may be occasion where you want to use one of your own pictures. To do that, you can go to Photos. Excuse me, you can go to Uploads. Choose where you want to upload from. Pick the image, and then from here you could just click and drag over. Okay, so maybe we want to make sure that we have the most up-to-date Southernly logo. So that would be an example of something you'd want to upload, and then you would be able to keep the item there. Okay. Finally, let me show you a couple ways we can save this. If we want this to be animated, where we can see the arrows pointing, over here where we say download, we can click it once. In this example, I want to make it a little short animated GIF. And I don't want both examples because only my first example is animated. And click Done. And then I can download. Okay. Sometimes you may need to share an assignment with me. where I can give you feedback. But then if it's an item that once you're finished with it, I need to grade it, then you'll actually need to download it and then turn it into Canvas. Okay, I've ungrouped these, so I'm going to hold the Shift key down and click on the three. Hold on, let me ungroup these. Okay. So what I want to do now really quick is I want to just change a couple of the colors. I'm sorry, I'm in the Control key there. Okay, so remember, Control lets us, quote, control what we want to change. All right, so for this example, I actually went in and just added some audio really quick. So pizza party flyer. So I'm going to click download. The first one I'm going to do as a video and click download. Then I'm going to go back and click just the first page. And in this example, I want to download it as a picture, which typically is a .jpg. And I only want to do the first page. And then you also have to go back and click download the second time. Okay, I'm at the bottom, and if you're doing a little video, it may take a couple minutes or so for that to finish up. And then finally, we will look and see the different examples and kind of wrap up everything with the Canva 101 introduction. So the first example is a little pizza party animated GIF. Okay. So if it's a .gif, it's animated, but that is all that you can hear. Okay. The second one, if it's a JPEG, okay, it's a photograph, it's a picture, but there's no animation. So if you want it to animate, you're going to need to download it as a GIF.gif. Okay. And then the final one is the last one. When I go back to the home screen, so again, I'm logged in as me. Down here, I'm going to be able to see my recent designs. I'm done as a teacher, so mine may be a little bit different. A little bit later, you could look at your folders, or maybe even assignments that you have done and turned in for a grade. You could do recent designs and then all of your designs. Finally, here's an example I made. And we didn't cover it, but you can also include hyperlinks on there as well. Okay, so I have my information, a graphic, etc. Okay, so this is kind of an introductory to Canva 101. And again, it's not the most fabulous update. We're going to do that in Illustrator and Photoshop, but it's a lot like Photoshop with just a lot more editing options for you to do.